FIGEST, the Italian Federation of Traditional Sports and Games, is a sport organization with legal personality officially recognized by CONI. FIGEST promotes 19 types of games and sports: lancio ruzzolone, lancio ruzzola, lancio of cheese, lancio of rolletto, street bowls, tiles palais, san, ribatta, fiolet, lippa, tug of war, spinning top game, morra, steel dart and soft dart, table soccer, crossbow shooting, slingshot, skittles, horseshoe game, historic Florentine football game. FIGEST, which is affiliated with TAFISA since 2016, is one of the founding members of AGEST, ITSGA, European Traditional Sport and Games Association, is acknowledged from TWIF, Tug of War International Federation, a IOC member, and it is internationally recognized from IDF, International Dart Federation, ADU, European Dart Union, and IBA, International Ball Playing Association. Beside the objective to arrange and support the development and the practice of traditional sports and games in a national and international context, FIGEST strives to promote youth activities both inside and outside school programs. This is FIGEST. The Federation is willing to host the second edition of European Sport for All Games TAFISA 2022, keeping the region of Umbria the protagonist of the project, with Perugia being appointed as the heart of the event, but also involving many other municipalities as well, even one of the neighboring Tuscany. Unspoiled landscapes, green valleys and ancient hamlets make Umbria an enchanting region, a land of gently rolling hills, awe-inspiring mountains and superb valleys located in the heart of Italy that stretches over the medium valley of River Tiber.
Hello everybody, as a president of the National Italian Olympic Committee, I'm very proud to present the second TAFISA event that will be hosted in Perugia from 23 to 29 of September 2021. This European Sport for All Games is a very important event for several reasons, but most than any other one, what is absolutely fundamental to underline is the historic moment that in Italy, but in the whole continent of Europe, but everywhere in the world, of course, life, sport was absolutely in a very big, huge, critical situation caused the pandemic virus. And now in Italy, in Perugia, the Italian Federation of Traditional Sports wanted to create a different event for demonstrate that the life of sport for these eclectic, different disciplines is started again. There are more than 30 nations, 30 delegations that will be with us. This is demonstration that is an international event, and I think that in this wonderful region, Umbria, in Perugia, which is the capitol of the region, and with a so strong tradition in these disciplines is the best place to demonstrate that these efforts from the Italian Sport and Traditional Federation will be not only the symbolic but the real proof of what this country and this is a fantastic federation we want to demonstrate to the world. Grazie amici, grazie amici. Sure that of course the Italian Olympic Committee will always close with a very strong complicity, friendship and same values of the federation and all of you. Grazie a tutti.
Perugia, with its 167,000 inhabitants, is very well known for the imposing defensive walls that surround the historic city centre. The medieval Palazzo dei Priori, home of the town hall, one of the architectural landmarks of the town and seat of the Galleria Nazionale dell'Umbria, and for the impressive Sala dei Notari, a big rectangular chamber completely adorned with frescoes that host all the assemblies and the major events of the institutional life of the town. The Gothic Cathedral of San Lorenzo dominates the main square of Perugia, Piazza 4 Novembre, where the Fontana Maggiore, a monumental fountain realized in marble, stands out. At the foot of the city center, there is the Santa Giuliana Stadium, a large sport arena that can be the perfect location for many of the games linked to the event, and that is often used to host many concerts among the most important music performances during the music festival Umbria Jazz. At the outskirts of town in Colle Strada lies the complex dedicated to the game of Launch of Ruzzolone. The origin of this game roots back to Etruscan times and implies the use of a wood disc and a ribbon for the launch. Spectacular tournaments of Zan, a team sport that comes from Val d'Aosta, that implies the use of small balls, a stick and wooden pallets. Morra is an archaic game that dates back to the ancient Egypt. We are back on the field after a very difficult year and a half. How do you see this moment?
Innanzitutto l'amministrazione comunale di Perugia è felicissima e orgogliosa di poter ospitare a settembre 2022 il Festival Europeo dei Giochi e degli Sport Tradizionali, un'importantissima occasione sportiva ma anche di promozione del territorio. L'amministrazione comunale in questi mesi lavorerà solertemente per poter assicurare ovviamente l'utilizzo dei vari impianti sportivi necessari per questo importante festival, come ad esempio il meraviglioso e amatissimo impianto di atletica del Santa Giuliana, ma anche collaborare con le forze del nostro territorio, in particolare con le associazioni dei commercianti del centro storico, perché è volontà da parte dell'amministrazione di poter dedicare degli scorci meravigliosi del nostro centro storico a dimostrazioni dei giochi e delle varie attività appunto che si svolgeranno in quei giorni. Sarà un lavoro bello, importante, ma ci troverà sicuramente pronti. Questo festival europeo sarà un proseguo rispetto alla ripartenza della nostra città proprio dallo sport. È di recente passato il Giro d'Italia con un'importante tappa, l'11ª, il Giro di Tampa, la partenza da Perugia, importante l'ATP Challenger, l'internazionale di tennis di Perugia, una ripresa importante anche dell'attività dell'atletica leggera. Tutte le discipline, dal calcio, dalla pallavolo, molto importante in città, come il rugby, la pallanuoto, hanno ripreso e sarà quindi questa un'occasione importante, un tassello importante per dare ancora più visibilità alla nostra meravigliosa città.
Assisi, with its 29,000 inhabitants, it is famous throughout the world for giving birth to St. Francis, patron of Italy, and St. Clair. The cathedral and the main square are the heart of the town. Along the secondary roads of the city takes place the game of launch of cheese, with wheels of cheese that goes from 1 kilo to 20 kilos. The spinning top game is a game that may appear simple, but it is really acrobatic. Another ancient remarkable sport is the crossbow shooting. The crossbow was a war weapon in the past, while now is a tool of a precision sport that is reenacted by the crossbowmen of Assisi. The imposing Papal Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels is situated in the plain at the foot of the hill of Assisi in the frazione of Santa Maria degli Angeli. It is one of the biggest churches in the Christian history that welcomes large numbers of pilgrims from all over the world, and it's home to the famous Porziuncola, one of the most important places connected to St. Francis' life. The tug-of-war practiced in various locations of the province of Perugia, especially in occasion of historical reenactments, was an Olympic game until 1924, but it is now struggling to gain the award of Olympic discipline again. Tiles ballet game is very similar to the bocce game, but the main tool is an iron disc that can also be rubberized for the younger players, of the weight of 900 grams. FIGES is also sensitive to the disabled issues. For this reason, it has signed an agreement with the Italian Paralympic Committee, Comitato Italiano Paralimpico, to give the opportunity also to many disabled athletes to take part in traditional sports such as darts, morra, slingshot, palè, etc. The rebatta game is typical of Valle d'Aosta and it requires a great hand-eye coordination. The objective of this game is to strike a small ball with a bat while trying to hit it as far away as possible. The municipality of Spoleto, with its 38,000 inhabitants, is surrounded by olive groves and vineyards. Worthy of note, the Dome, the fortress that dominates the whole area, and the Ponte delle Torri Bridge, an ancient Roman aqueduct. The Spoleto area hosts many traditional sports and games, such as the launch of Rolletto and the launch of Ruzzolone, for which there are many active projects focused on youngest players and junior tournaments. Now we move to Todi with its 17,000 inhabitants. Todi is located over a hill that is about 400 meters upon sea level. The historic city center, the Piazza del Popolo, and the Temple of Santa Maria della Consolazione are all interesting reminiscences of the medieval times. In Todi, the following traditional sports are still widely spread: the launch of Ruzzolone, the launch of Rolletto, the street bowls, the tug of war, and also the Morra game. From the province of Perugia, we are now moving to the province of Terni, and more precisely in the outstanding town of Orvieto that sits atop a tuff of volcanic rock. Within the beautiful frame and the lavish landscapes of this municipality, it has performed the launch of Ruzzolone and the launch of cheese, but also the tug of war, the darts for disabled players too, and the tiles game. The Torre dell'Orologio, dating back to the 19th century, and the majestic Dome of Orvieto, one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the world, are the backdrop of other traditional games such as the slingshot, the spinning top game, the launch of Rulletto, and the Morra game. Our tour proceeds toward the borders of the region, within the municipality of Arezzo, Tuscany, in the town of Cortona. The hill town of Cortona, situated between Umbria and Tuscany, rises above the Val di Chiana and the Tiber Valley, and due to its strategic location, it is also known as the balcony on the Val di Chiana. Cortona has always been a popular port of call for tourists and photographers who are enthralled by the spectacular sightseeing. An important Etruscan town in the past, Cortona has now become the main cultural and artistic center of the Val di Chiana after Arezzo. Not to be missed, a visit to the Church of Santa Margherita, patron saint of the town. The launch of Ruzzolone, the launch of cheese, the launch of rulletto and darts are the most common traditional sports practiced in this area. One of the main landmarks of Norcia is the Cathedral of San Benedetto da Norcia, patron saint of Europe and severely hit by the earthquake. The Maple Fascia is a famous pilgrimage destination for the presence of the sanctuary built in honor of Santa Rita. Gualdo-Tadino is the city that will host the closing ceremony of the 2022 Games. Of ancient origins and noble traditions handed down by a history that is lost in time, Gualdo-Tadino is surrounded by a mountain landscape and the enchanting Val Sorda. Seat of numerous historical battles, it is now famous for being the city of water and artistic ceramics. In Gualdo, it's possible to visit churches, monasteries, and hermitages from the 13th century onwards, the Palazzo del Podestà, and several fortresses and castles. Among these stands out the Roccaflea, the most prestigious historical monument of the city. Gualdo is renowned for a popular historical reenactment, I Giochi delle Porte, an event that is also part of the Figes tradition. These games imply 3 days of celebration, with exhibition of flag wavers, hundreds of costume figures who give life to a wonderful historical procession, sports tournaments, including the shooting with the slingshot, and many different challenges between the 4 historic districts of the city.
Poter ospitare l'evento conclusivo del Festival Europeo dei Giochi e degli Sport Tradizionali per la città di Gualdo Tadino è sicuramente motivo di grande orgoglio. In primo luogo perché avere l'onore di ospitare un evento di così grande rilevanza permetterà di far conoscere la nostra comunità sotto tanti aspetti all'Europa e al mondo. E poi perché ci lega alla Figes, quindi ai giochi tradizionali, la nostra grande tradizione di giochi delle porte, dai quali sono nati i primi campionati del mondo di tiro con la fionda, che si sono svolti proprio a Gualdo Tadino. Quindi Gualdo Tadino, l'Umbria, come capitale europea degli sport e dei giochi tradizionali, con l'ambizione che abbiamo di fare in modo che nella nostra città possa presto nascere una sede nazionale della federazione, con particolare riferimento al tiro con la fionda, ma a tutti gli sport e giochi tradizionali ai quali teniamo molto. Quindi grande onore, grande soddisfazione e soprattutto grande orgoglio per questo grandissimo traguardo.
In Umbria it's possible to enjoy a hearty food and wine culture, tasting traditional dishes that suit everybody's palate, and relaxing in a quiet farmhouse surrounded by the green countryside. Umbria boasts many high-quality products. Food and wine products are cheeses, Norcia cold cuts, truffles, extra virgin olive oil of the highest quality, DOC wines exported all over the world, such as the famous Sagrantino di Montefalco. Typical Umbrian handicraft products are ceramics, antique fabrics and lace, and cashmere.
Cari amici, questa iniziativa del Festival ha una storia. Nel 2019 TAFISA, in occasione del Congresso di Tokyo, ha scelto la Figes per ospitare la seconda edizione dei Giochi Europei TAFISA che si svolgeranno nel settembre del 2022. La Figes, dopo aver partecipato alla prima esperienza in Olanda, è felicissima della fiducia che le è stata concessa e si sente pronta ad ospitare la manifestazione. L'iniziativa dà anche seguito ad altre esperienze passate. Nel 2018 la Figes, proprio a Perugia, ha ospitato il weekend europeo dei giochi e sport tradizionali. Nel 2015 il progetto europeo GamesNet e si è concluso con l'evento finale a Narni, sempre qui in Umbria. La nostra è ancora una proposta progettuale che si lega alla partnership europee dedicate allo sport e ai programmi importanti dell'Erasmus+. E speriamo che, presentandosi in tutta la sua concretezza, possa essere premiata. Dopo il Covid la FIGET è ripartita con la propria attività, programmando gare e competizioni nelle varie discipline, dimostrando di guardare oltre l'ostacolo della pandemia durante questi lunghi mesi di inattività sportiva. FIGET mira, con l'organizzazione del Festival europeo dedicato ai giochi e sport tradizionali, specifici della nostra esperienza, sia allo sport per tutti, ampliando il panorama dei beneficiari di quanto lo sport può dare. TAFISA, enti locali, istituzioni sportive come il CONI e le realtà sociali del territorio ci stanno dando supporto per rendere più semplice l'organizzazione del festival, nella cui riuscita riponiamo le nostre migliori speranze. L'evento sarà sportivo, culturale, ma sarà anche turistico, perché stiamo sviluppando un programma itinerante per far conoscere a tutti alcune delle più belle realtà della regione, sede della federazione, della FIGET, all'insegna del sano sport e del divertimento. Il mio invito è augurare a tutti che vedranno questo video abbiano il desiderio di partecipare. La FIGET darà il massimo affinché TAFISA e tutti i partecipanti possano tornare a casa con il piacere e ricordo di una fantastica esperienza in Umbria. La FIGET vi aspetta a Perugia dal 23 al 29 settembre per gli European Sport Football Games 2022 per vivere voi una felice esperienza indimenticabile. Viva lo sport, viva la FIGET, un abbraccio caloroso a tutti.
The terrific spectacle of nature of the flowering of Castelluccio di Norcia concludes our travel. This is just a part of what Perugia and Umbria will be able to offer at the European Sport for All Games 2022. We look forward to meeting you in Perugia to let you enjoy a beautiful and touching experience, because the green art of Italy will leave a mark on everyone's heart.